Okay, here we go again. I have to turn this down a bit. Okay. We can get another window in. We can put it in right below this one. Match it up a little bit. And, okay, we know that 14. And we can play. Okay, now we can offset, we can go full 6 feet, or we could go 5 feet. Let's try 5 feet. Okay, so as we've shown here, we can bring this window down. Okay, we can move, right? I don't have a track on. Okay, we can line it up with this window, right? And we're still, you can see there's the floor down at the bottom, so we're still doing okay. If he jogs it this way, he can't do that. We'd have to move and stay above that concrete, you know, give a plate, so something like that. So it really, it's up to him. And at this point, I'll present this drawing. I'm not going to go ahead and do window. Well, I can do one window, just to show you how we're going to end up doing them. Typically, I would wait until we're doing the working drawings, and I know whether his windows are going to be sliding windows or casement windows or whatever, and where he wants them and how he wants them to open. But that's not the window I want. Okay, I'm going to go to ADC. And I'm going to move it out of the way so I can double click on it, and I'm going to go to my tutorial package, basic blocks, and then bring it back so you can see what I'm doing. In here I have a basic window to start from. Now some people will go through here. I've got doors, you can see those, and they'll draw all different sizes of windows, and I don't. I just do the one. And then change it on site. Now, one of the beauties of doing all the different sizes is you can price them. You know, for the different sizes, you can add that as an attribute, and so you can end up with a window prices at the end of it. There's tons of things you can do. So I'm just going to move this. This is typically just a 3x3 window. I'm going to put it right on that spot right there. Okay, I need it to be 4 wide, so I'm just going to stretch. Okay, and I don't care where, and I'm going to go in that direction, and I'm going to go 6 inches. And then whoops, what happened there? Oh, I know, this is a block. Okay, explode it, and then go 6. Okay, and then stretch again, only taking this side, and stretch again 6. Okay, so get rid of my construction line. There would be a window sliding that goes from left to right. It's close enough. If it was a casement window, I would just get rid of that arrow to show a slider, and I would show which side opened. Okay, and I would point to the hinge side. So I would draw a line, something like that. I would put it on the hidden layer, so match properties to something on the hidden layer, so it comes out a dotted line, and that's a cranking or levered window. It's a casement, it comes out at you. Okay, so those would kind of be the 2 window types. Here I would be a slider, or this could be glass block. When I got to these big ones, if I wanted that window to open, okay, I'm just going to bring in another window here. Okay, and I'm going to explode it first this time, and then I'm going to rotate it. Pick this corner and go up like that. Oh, too much. Undo. Okay, so rotate this whole thing from this corner right there. Okay, I would move it into this corner of my block, and then I would stretch from there to there. Okay, so maybe I would do something like that. And again, if I didn't want it to slide and I wanted to crank, it would become an awning window. So I would draw a line from here, not to there, to there, and to there, and put that on match properties on the hidden layer. Okay, so that designates a window that would crank or lever open, and it would, the hinges would be on the top, and so it would open out. Okay, and then, I mean, you can do any configuration you want, but those are just kind of the most typical. Okay, I'm not going to hatch this. I am not going to go much. I'm not going to go any farther, actually. I'm just going to leave it as it is and present it as it is. Okay, this is the right side elevation. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and move it down into this area and call it exactly that. Right, cap locks on, right side elevation. Okay, and just make it all one line. There we go. Okay. Now, we need another elevation, and again, in a prelim, it really depends. I might only show two, just exactly what you see here, the front of the house, the back of the house, because there wouldn't be anything really interesting or that you couldn't read from the plan. Okay, and I don't want to go any farther than I have to, because of course I got to make changes, account for changes. In this case, I definitely want to show a rear elevation because, well, that's the nicest elevation, the most interesting. So I already have the front developed, and I'm just going to turn, I'm going to go layer, I'm going to go off, and I'm going to turn hatch off. Okay. In this case, I'm going to turn door off too. Okay. Everything else can stay. I can manipulate it. Okay. So I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to mirror this whole front elevation. Okay, and about the center here, and make sure F8's on. From there to there, and no, I don't want to erase the old one. Okay. Layer on all. Okay, so that should have turned everything back on. Yep. Okay, so here we have it's the opposite. Okay, so now the garage is on the right hand side. Of course, there's no doors at the back of the garage, so we'll get rid of those, and we'll get rid of that. And this was the trim boards. Okay, and I'm just going to erase one of these and extend the other one right over to that side. Okay, now the back of the garage, or the back of the house, is actually this 10-foot high. This will be wall now. Okay, and with one of these down below it. Okay, so I'm just going to erase that whole getup and erase that whole getup. Okay, well, I'm going to take a line. I need to, what am I going to do? I'm going to take this line. I'm going to copy this whole thing and that, and oh, we didn't change that. Well, let's change it now. This needs to go, okay, to show our 4 feet. Okay, so let's copy it, and we'll take this. Finish grade. We got all of that. Yep. Okay, and let's take it from the outside there, and we're going to put it right on the outside. I'm using AutoCad here, which is a nice little feature. Draw a line down. Actually, we'll go to there. Okay, we'll draw a line down here. This is be the outside of our house. AutoCad can get in your way. Okay, now we know from developing this that our concrete line is right there. Okay, the rest is floor. So we know that grade here will stop right there. Okay. We will definitely see that post for this deck here. This is the top of our line. Okay, we can erase these stairs, and we can stretch. Actually, I'm going to take a line from here to here. I can't remember what we did here. Something's wrong. Okay, let's go back to here. No, that's right. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's our floor line. Yeah. Okay, so our grade is at the back of the house was there. Okay, so I just need to find that line here. There. Okay, now I'm going to stretch this whole thing. Okay, from there down to this grade line. There. Okay, that 1'10", we'll just leave that. Okay, so there's my post, there's my top of my deck. Extend. I'm just going to erase these. Okay. Okay. This was a construction line. Okay, so there's my post going down that side. This is the deck at the side of the house. Okay, so from this point right here, right, the grade, he's going to have to dig down here in between these two, or put a retaining wall in. And there isn't a heck of a lot of room there. Okay, so we've already discussed this with the client. So we're looking at this area right in here where I'm twirling my mouse, where my crosshairs are twirling. So now there's the deck, okay, and the ground wants to drop below, but if he does the same thing to his garage, of course he's going to have 10-foot high concrete walls at the back of his garage. Okay, so what we were thinking is we will just leave this level inside here, and he will probably move this garage closer to the front of the house. Okay, and then from the back of the garage, which would now be about there, he can just grade down and get what he wants. So we've already talked about that. He's taken the drawing home and going to reevaluate it, have another look at his land, maybe take some elevation shots on his land. And so basically from the corner of this would be straight across, and then from the back of the garage it would slope down to here. Okay? You have to think a little bit in 3D. Okay. Okay. We're going to change this to rear. Okay. And we're going to move it out of our way a little bit. Somewhere around there. Okay. So that's our post coming down at the back of the house, holding up the deck. This is our back foundation, 4 feet below. I'm going to take this line and just line it up to there, and I'm going to trim it here. Okay, now I can just use it as a mirror axis, straight up, enter. Okay, so there's the other side. Extend up here. Now that'll be all one deck at the back. You won't see a split in it. Okay, that's the top of the house. Okay, so this is the back. Okay, the back in here. Okay, at the rear of the house. Okay, there's my crosshairs. You can see how that lines up. This grade would actually stretch right across. Okay. change this. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of it because we got it on the other side. Okay. Grade would be straight at the back of the house. That's my top of concrete. Okay, I think we're just about done. Okay, let's rotate the plan. And then we're going to move the plan from some easily recognizable point to some easily recognizable point. So basically we've just lined that block up. You can see how these walls all line up here. Okay, and then we're just going to move it out a bit so we can work with it just straight up somewhere about there. Oh, a little bit more. Somewhere about there. Okay, so everything should line up. The outside of my post, right, lines up. The outside of my building there lines up. Okay. Okay, in the center, okay, we've got one big hunkin' post. Okay, so we can draw that in. Okay, I don't know why it went over there. Right to the peak. Okay, we're going to offset 3 on either side of that line to show a 6-inch post. Okay, we can trim. Okay, we can actually get rid of this construction line. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line from here. I have to turn no tracking off. There's too many lines to click to. Get in a little closer here. Okay, and then I'm just going to fillet. Okay, I believe this beam is going to be heavier, so we'll offset it 12 inches. Okay, we'll draw a line from there to there to designate a beam. And we'll trim. So they're going to notch everything in. Okay, well this was actually set up for the front elevation, and at that end of the house we were using trusses. At this end of the house we of course are using rafters, and the rafters need to be 14 inches deep. Okay, so offset 14 gets us down to there. Okay, and we can erase these lines. Okay, now that's a bit much. You know, if I fillet this, I notched that in. I'm just going to stretch it down. Okay, I'm going to stretch, but I'm going to press shift and get rid of those two. I don't want those to stretch. And then I'm just going to take the middle of this beam and put it right there. Now, that would just, each one of these rafters will be notched to fit into this position, right? And so, trim. Okay, each rafter would just lock right in on top of that beam. Okay, so that shows the bottom of my rafters. I can just fillet this. Okay. Okay, now this is a post. There's a post we put in there. Okay, we can get rid of this line. That shows the ceiling of our walk-through beside the house. Okay, this deck's on the side of the house. No, you wouldn't see it. It's all one. Okay, I'm just going to trim. Okay, again, there'll be blocking inside there to make that solid, but it will be 2 separate posts. Okay, I need something on the on the hidden layer. There we go. Okay, now again, we're going to copy this whole setup right here. Actually, to tell you the truth, we're going to make them dig out. Okay, this has got a lot of weight on it coming down, and I want to see a big pad down there. I don't want to truss just the big foot like these posts. I want a heavier one here. And so I'm going to move, okay, I'm just going to slide it, what, 3 inches? Yeah, that would get me to the center bolt, sure. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to move it down because all this has to be is 8 inches out. So offset 8. Okay, and then stretch. I want to stretch just that red one down to there. Okay, get rid of my construction lines. Okay, actually I could use that line. This white line for the outside of my house. If I can click on it, we go back up to here. Okay. Something's wrong here. Oh no, it's good. Okay. So I've got 8 inches of concrete. Now here, I want quite a big footing, so I'm just going to stretch this out probably another 4 inches. And we'll do the structural calculations afterwards, have a better look at how we're building that. For now it's just an elevation. And I'm sort of just building this in my head as I go along. Okay, because that post is beyond. Okay, trim here. Okay, now I have a beam up there. These guys. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and that, and I'm going to put another one down here. Okay, now remember that grade line is way back there. Okay, so it's not going to affect this beam. It may have to, he may have to slope down in this direction and slope that down in direction to get water traveling down this hill. Okay, so we've got a beam and a post system holding up this floor. Actually, the beam will travel all the way through the back of this house. Okay, so the post will hold up that beam. The beam holds up the floor joists. Okay, and everything, all the weight transfers down through. Okay, so we're going to trim this. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, now here we actually have a post. So I mean, we can just steal this one, copy. This will get up here from there to, yeah, right there. Okay. Okay. We'll draw a line to that post. Whoops. We'll just draw a line from here to here, and then extend it. This is the top of, so that's a little confusing. There's two things here. I'll probably get rid of the showing this foundation. That'd be this one. Oops. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then trim. Again, this is not a cross section, this is an elevation, and we just need to show what is in front. Okay. Okay, so there we're showing that post. Okay, with the gray, with the top of concrete behind that post. The post sticks up. We don't actually need that because there is no beam running from the house to this post. The beam runs along here, but here there is a beam, and it will actually be behind. And so let's match properties. Okay, this is hidden behind, not that line, no. Let's move that up there. Draw a solid line down for our post. Match properties. Okay, I'm going to erase this for now, it's confusing me. Match properties. Okay, so these are all on the wall there. Structural members, nice heavy lines. That one and that one. Okay, and this is going to show. Okay, so there's my deck, there's my house, there's underneath the deck, coming down to this grade line right here. I'm showing a post holding that, I'm showing that holding up the side of the house. Okay, let's clean this up a bit. Let's extend to here, there, and trim. Those are my rafters coming down. Okay, we'll need a beam there to hold up the edge of the rafters, so copy this get up from there. I did that one differently. Okay, we'll put it right there. Okay, move this whole get up from there to there. Okay, fillet and trim. Okay. Top. Because that was done with trusses, that's why. Okay, let's erase this. Okay, it's different at the back of the house. Copy this from there straight across to there. And then just fillet. Extend there, trim to there. No. Let's push this. Oh, we want to bring this up. Okay. And what if I erase that one? No. Let's fillet. Okay. Do those line up? Yeah. Well, there's a little anomaly right there. When we're working with trusses, and when we all of a sudden shift over from the side of that to rafters, the beam's going to make a jog. So at the front of the house, okay, there's our beam elevation. You remember we put a truss all the way. The bottom of the truss is right in line of our ceiling. Yet when we go to the back of the house, we're going to have rafters, and so somewhere along the side of the house, the beam's going to have to drop down. Okay. Well, that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll do all the windows and finish off this rear elevation. Okay, see you then.